Squad is in the building. Let's freaking go. I'm stoked about this. Hold on, give me 2 seconds here. Let me just get my situation dialed in. My sitch. Yeah, okay, cool. We're live. We're in action. Let's get it. You guys stoked? Freaking stoked about this. I love this new format, by the way. So, agency therapy now 2 freaking hours long. Can you believe it? 2 hour agency therapy stream. We're gonna start doing this every freaking Thursday. Just got off a travel stint, so that's why we just haven't been doing a whole lot. What up, Anthony? Good to see you, dude. This is why we just haven't been doing it as often, is because I've been traveling the last 3 weekends. So went to Miami for an event called the Weekend MBA. It's with Bradley, Sean Castrina, Colin Castrina. He is a regular inside of agency therapy as well. Had the opportunity to go speak there to about 200 people. Super cool event. Bunch of entrepreneurs. It wasn't specific to the agency space at all, but there were some agencies there, some e-com brands there as well, but pretty broad in business. Talked about some systems building. So wrapped it up in Miami, then moved over to Denver with Bo and Alex Herndon. Jesus Christ, AK camera or what, bruh? Actually, only 1080p, believe it or not. It's a Canon 80D. If you guys know anything about cameras, you know that the Canon 80D is the Casey Neistat camera. And it's the one that he does like all the vlogs with. So if you were ever a Casey Neistat fan, the Canon 80D, but it only shoots in 1080p, believe it or not. So we're shooting in 1080, baby, and that's what we're streaming on. So anyway, jumping back into it, the 3-week stint was wild. So once again, Miami, then bounced over to Denver. Saw some awesome people in Denver. Actually, a lot of people that are regulars of agency therapy were in the Denver event. It was like the most ridiculously priced event ever. It was so cheap, and if you missed out, I kind of feel bad for you, to be honest, because the event was so cheap. Tickets were like $297 or something for like the general admission. VIP was like 900 something. So like all inclusive, I think like you could have gotten away with the trip for like $1,000 or something. And I'm not kidding, like the level of speakers that were actually there, it was absolutely insane. You had like Taylor Welch, you had Tommy Patterson, Chandler Welling. I mean, you had me there as well. You had who else did you have? A bunch of people in the agency space. Ashton Shanks was there. Dude, like it was such a good event, and it was like the only event that I've been to where it's like, dude, like it's an intimate room, but at the same time the level of people was so high. So keep a lookout for that event popping back up, because I know Bo very well, and I know he's probably not going to raise his ticket prices very much. So be on the lookout for more of that. It's called Base Camp. It was a great event. And then the last event that I went to was Geek Out in Miami. Geek Out, dude. Geek Out is such a good event, man. Like, let me tell you, like 10 out of 10. It absolutely rocks. Ecom agency, kind of split down the middle, very tactical, very nerdy, hence the Geek Out side of things, but great place to just network. Once again, high level room, a little bit larger room, I would say like roughly 150 to 180 people. But, you know, Nick Shackelford, Roxy event, James, I don't even know what James's last name is, but he freaking rocks the event too. Always have good speakers, always a good room to be in. So if you guys get a chance to go to a Geek Out, highly recommend it, man. They just absolutely put it on a different level. Quick question, is the music too high? It sounds fine in my headphones, but it might be a little bit high for you guys. Let me know. But anyway, with all that being said, 3 weeks of events, hence why we haven't been on agency therapy in a little while. So I'm super stoked to be back, and glad that a few of you actually showed up to this. So I appreciate you. Thank you for showing up. If you guys are just jumping in the room, say what's up. Would love to know who is in here, who's jamming. And we'll get to some Q&A. So how we're structuring this now is we're doing a 2-hour session. The first hour is going to be me just jamming on some topics. I'm going to just kind of bring some stuff to the table right off the bat, right? So the first hour is going to be just me, baby. That's all you get. You guys can't talk yet, all right, which is totally fine. You'll get a chance to talk. You get a chance to do some Q&A in the second hour. So 6 to 7, we are going to be doing the Q&A. So no worries. Don't fret at all, okay? We're gonna get the Q&A in. You guys be able to jump in, ask some questions. We can talk about systems. We can talk about lead gen, we could talk about fulfillment, we could talk about HR, finance, whatever you guys want to talk about when it comes to your agency. We will be patching those areas for you whenever you guys need it. So, but super stoked to get into today. I feel like it's been a while since I've actually been like back in my regular routine, finally getting back into it. I am traveling a little bit this weekend, but super stoked to be jumping back in. So real quick, we got someone in the audience in the agency therapy, so give me 2 seconds. Let me get them over here real fast. That way they know, you know. LP, I don't know who you are, man. I hope you're doing well, but thanks for joining in the Discord. We're over on the YouTube channel right now, so if you go to the general chat, you're going to see the link to the YouTube channel. We're gonna be jamming over there for the first hour, 5 to 6, and then 6 to 7, we'll open the Discord up for you guys, and you can jump into the Q&A. So you can hang here, you just won't be able to hear anything. So jump over, come on over to the YouTube side, okay? And we'll hang out there for a little bit. So, and this is how we'll format things from now on, guys. Okay, do the YouTube, and then we'll get everyone in the Discord channel together, and we can jam hard on some Q&A. But today, we got a couple topics. I really got like two topics today, but like both of them should kind of take a majority of the time, I would say. But it's here, the second freaking edition, baby, of the agency secret letters. Boom. Super stoked about this. The agency secret letter is something that I've been just really stoked on since 4 Media, Eddie Malouf, those guys started putting this together and started to kind of formulate what the agency secret letters are actually meant for. So let me give you guys a quick breakdown. So those of you that don't know 4 Media marketing and the agency secret letters, 4 Media marketing, direct to consumer, e-commerce agency. These guys are kind of like carving the path for greatness right now. They're absolutely crushing it. They've got probably like I don't know exactly how many team members they have, but I would say between like 40 and 60, somewhere in that range of teammates. They are crushing it, dude. So if you guys are like to like really model yourself after a certain agency, like they're definitely one of them that is kind of like blazing trails when it comes to like the agency space. So really pay attention to those guys. But they just released something called the agency secret letters. I've covered one of them in a previous stream. So if you haven't seen that one, you can go and check it out. But the agency secret letters is a paid subscription, okay? And the subscription is specific letters that they actually mail out to you. So they actually don't do any digital copy. So there's no way to get a digital copy of this. You only get physical prints, which is kind of genius in my mind because everything's digital nowadays. Like who actually prints stuff? It's actually cool. It comes in this like awesome letter pouch here, and they actually mail it out to you. And like that's the only way that you can receive this. So it makes it to where you can't just like send copies to friends. Like you would have to like scan it or take photos to actually get it. I believe it's $97. At least that was the sign up price. At least I don't know what it is now, but I believe it's $97 a month, and they will send you all of the notes that they've kind of taken throughout the month, some of their takeaways, all that good stuff. And I'll get a little bit more in depth here in a second. Now, when I cover the agency secret letters in this stream, I can't go into like extreme detail of like exactly what's in it because like it's a paid subscription, right? I don't want to do that to Eddie and the team of being like, oh, like here's all the secrets that they're giving away and like they're making people pay for, right? I have to actually like kind of, oh, it's $150 now. Damn. Okay. Well, you missed out at the $97 early entry. So it's $150 now, but still, and I'll tell you why it's worth it here in a little bit. But in my opinion, well worth it. So jump on it. At some point, maybe someone can drop the link in the chat if you guys don't mind. That would be super helpful. Okay. So let's jump into it. So I don't want to give away like everything that's inside the letters because like, dude, like you guys should like pay for it, right? I don't want to just be giving out free info, but what I like to do is kind of like comb over some of the general topics that they cover in this and stuff that like really resonates with me and that I feel like you guys will get value from. And I'm not affiliated with this. Like Eddie's a good friend of mine, but like he didn't ask me to do this, or I'm not getting a kickback for like any signups. I don't have an affiliate code or anything, but maybe one day. But I've been talking with Eddie, and there is a potential for me to actually write a little segment inside of the agency secret letter. So we'll see if he lets me do it. I'm not the greatest writer, but I hear their copywriters kind of clean things up for you, which would be kind of nice. So let's freaking jump into it. So the first thing that they've kind of put in here, I think I'm actually missing it. Maybe I'm not. Oh, never mind. Here it is. Here's the first piece. Or am I missing it? Where the heck did I put it? Okay. Oh, here it is. Here it is. I got it. My bad. All right. So the first thing that they kind of jump into is like, they just start with bad news. Absolutely love it, by the way. Starting with the bad news. And, it's so funny that we look at agencies from the outside. We don't have the inside perspective. I actually just filmed a reel about this, about how, oftentimes like you think people have it so great, but you don't have the inside perspective of what it's actually like to run their agency or be in their agency or any business, right? Like you don't really understand what it's like until you're inside of it, right? And so it's funny because they talk about this in the first part of their letters of like, dude, like we got some bad news, clients left us or whatever. And so they talk about that, and it's like, it's so interesting to me because everyone's like, dude, like that agency is crushing it. And it's like, you always put these people on a pedestal, like a lot of these agency owners like Nick Shackelford, Eddie Ashton. It's like, dude, like these guys are crushing it. Like they're consistently growing. No, not the case at all, guys. And they lay this out in the letters of like, yeah, like we lose clients like everyone else. And we lose clients the same way that you lose clients in a manner of, we're not necessarily like, there's like, we're doing well for them. We're having success with them, but we freaking still lose people. So I thought that was really cool. Some transparency into the actual letters. So I was kind of stoked to see that. Yo, what's up, Frazier? Good to see you, brother. I love you, man. Hey, man, what do you say? It looks so rosy from the outside. What looks rosy? I look rosy? Maybe. I don't know. So I thought that was really cool how they introed this though, in like the first segment. So like this is the first segment here. They just talk about like just some bad news, and it's like, dude, like all agencies suffer through bad news. All agencies go through downtimes. So it's kind of interesting to me that they added that in there, and I really love the transparency that they start with in this. It really kicks off the letters, and then they talk about like some DEFCON system that they have like to gauge clients, which I thought was pretty cool as well. So not going to give away too much though. All right, the second thing that they talk about, and I absolutely love it, mergers and acquisitions. So if you guys ever are wondering what it takes to go through a merger, through an acquisition, it's so funny to me that they added the merger and acquisition piece in there because they've been scooping up agencies left and right. They've gone through 2 or 3 acquisitions. So they're just kind of giving you like the insights of like what it would look like to acquire an agency, but also what it would look like to be acquired by an agency. So pretty cool. They give some breakdowns there on mergers and acquisitions. So definitely check that out if you haven't yet, or if you got the letters and you just haven't read them yet. They break it down really deeply on like how it works and like how they benefit, how you benefit as an agency from a merger and an acquisition. So really cool aspect there. Really enjoyed that. What else did we talk about? And then they give the perspective of the actual person that they acquired. So they acquired an agency out of the UK recently, and they actually talk about, they actually bring that agency owner in and talk about what it was like to actually be acquired, right? Which is pretty cool. So you kind of get the outside perspective. So if you're like looking for a merger or an acquisition, they'll actually give you a good idea of what it's like. So pretty cool there. All right, and then they go into like actually talking about like certain metrics of the business. So they talk a lot about churn in one part of the segment, which I absolutely love. I think this is like one topic, like it's starting to gain some traction in the agency space because so much of the agency space has been lead gen of like, we need more leads, we need more leads. And it's like, well, not necessarily the case. And this is something that I've kind of been preaching for, I don't know, but at least a year now of like, dude, like churn is not your freaking problem, man. It's not churn. Churn is the problem. Lead gen is not the problem. It's not freaking lead gen, man. It's churn. Churn is the issue, right? And so they go and they dive into that, and they talk about the metrics. They talk about the calculator that they use to track all of their churn. So once again, it's kind of cool to see the shift in the dynamic from everyone being so fixated on lead gen and moving into like, okay, well, how can we keep clients? Because that's where like true revenue growth is going to come from, is your ability to keep clients, not necessarily the ability to gain clients, right? And so what's really cool about this is like, if you truly think about it, if you were able to sign 1 to 2 clients a month and you had a, say like a 5% churn rate over the entire year, you could grow substantially with 1 to 2 clients per month. Substantially. Like, you could have probably $500,000 business, like depending on your structure, but you could have a very large business in roughly a year if you mitigated your churn. And a lot of things that they talk about, like when it comes to mitigating churn, is specifically around one, like results. Results are super key, but people still leave you even if you have great results, as they covered in the first segment. You have to make yourself like kind of like irreplaceable. You have to give that great client experience as well. You want that great client experience because that's what makes them stay with you long term. Okay, so some things to kind of think about as you guys are still like building your own agencies is the churn aspect. Like, if you're churning clients at a high rate, man, you really got to dig down into that. And most of it's going to come from client experience, and whether that's building community, whether that is how you onboard people, delivery, communication standards, like all of those things, like you have to weigh in on those and you have to measure them frequently, because that's what makes a great client experience, right? So if you make a great client experience, chances are you'll keep people for a longer period of time, okay? Then they talk some stuff about the CFO, around the CFO and the financials, but they talk like a lot about like the actual tracking and like what they are, what they're predicting and how they're able to kind of set up the finances of the business. So really solid aspect there. Their CFO is a gangster. I actually don't know him very well. Julian? Yeah, I don't think I've ever met Julian. So hopefully I get to meet. Is Julian a guy or a girl? I don't actually know. Okay, so anyway, they talk a lot about the CFO side as well. I won't go too deep into that one because it's a little bit more in depth than I necessarily want to cover. So they talk about the CMO a little bit. CMO has like a nice little segment in there. I skipped past the CMO side only because I'm not like a technical marketer, so I was like, okay, cool. So if you want some like strategies around being a CMO, like, or around their marketing tactics, they do include that stuff in here, but not anything that I was like super interested in, so I kind of just skipped past it. And then they have just like a closing thoughts page as well. Just kind of talking about, hey, like you guys can't compare your chapter to what chapter they're on. Like compare your chapter 3 to our chapter 15, which I thought was pretty cool. So kind of keeps you in your lane, keeps you in the right mindset. And then lastly, they did a bonus material with, I believe this is Matt Deitch, about copywriting. So if you guys are looking for a little bit of help on the copywriting side, you could see their exact copywriting strategy that they're using internally with their team. Super solid. Some cool stuff that they're doing. So how they're doing research. What else are they doing? Like useful research tools, how they do their research, all that good stuff. They also have templates in here as well. I think you can reach out to someone and they will send you a template. So pretty cool stuff. Overall, I would definitely so for the 97 or even $150, like 100% worth it to go and grab these letters, because you are getting the insight from this agency, and it's been, in my opinion, it'd be a game changer if I was still running an agency. It's cool to see the insights of other agencies, so pretty cool stuff. Any of the letters cover hiring? That's a good question. I can't remember if the first letters cover hiring or not. I don't remember if they covered hiring. I don't think they have yet, but I'm sure they will in future ones. So, and maybe that's something that we could chat about today when we jump into the Q&A. Cool. What do you guys think so far? Do you guys like this format? We've been going 30 minutes already. Well, I guess 30 minutes because there's a stream timer, but we've been going for 20 minutes so far. What do you guys think? I want to hear from you. A little swig of water. All right, hopefully you guys are vibing. I'll catch in on the comments here in a second. It is a little delayed on my end, so I don't think there's any way to actually speed that up, which is kind of unfortunate. So, all right. So the next thing that I want to chat with you guys on today specifically revolves around leadership. And this is something that I don't think is talked about enough in our industry. What's cool about the agency industry and even like the e-com industry is that it's so young, right? You got a lot of young leaders, you got a lot of young people that are kind of coming to the surface as entrepreneurs. And one thing that we tend to skip over is our leadership skills, right? Communication skills, all of that good stuff. So I want to take you guys kind of through something I put together. I actually put it together for my Bible study, don't worry, there's like no Bible verses or anything in that. But it's one of those things where leadership translates to so many areas of your life. So whether you're leading a team, whether you're like whether you're an employee of a team, you could also be a leader in your household, with your family, with your wife. Like leadership translates to every aspect of our lives. And this is a blade that we have to sharpen frequently, in my opinion. And oftentimes, like, we don't sharpen it at all. And so would highly recommend, if you guys haven't done much leadership training, start picking up some books on leadership, start listening to some podcasts on leadership. At the end of this, I'll give you a few resources to kind of take away and utilize, but wanted to talk a little bit about kind of like learning about leadership and kind of where I started my leadership journey, and kind of some things that I've been doing to kind of sharpen my skills, right? So the first thing that you gotta have to think about in leadership is, in order to like really lead others effectively, you have to be able to lead yourself, right? If you can't lead yourself, you can't lead others. Like, just not gonna happen. No one's gonna have respect for you as a leader if you're a poor leader internally, if you can't lead yourself. Give me some thumbs up if you agree with that, right? So, gotta learn to lead yourself first, okay? Because at the end of the day, like, your potential to lead others is directly correlated to how you lead yourself. Like, it's one and one. Like, one equals the other at the end of the day, okay? And so some things, I posted this the other day on my Instagram story, and I was like, what are some attributes of a great leader? And you had everything from like empathy to transparency to taking the reins and leading from the front, like a bunch of different attributes of a great leader. And then of course there's attributes of poor leaders as well. And when we think of great leaders, like, I'm sure there's a bunch of things that come to mind, but it's like, how do we exactly train ourselves up internally on that? Currently I'm drinking, Conan, a little Ghost Energy, which is actually started off as a D2C. Actually, I don't know if they started off as D2C, but they're pretty heavy in the D2C space. Super good. This is the Blue Raspberry flavor. It's pretty good. Pretty solid. And then, of course, I've got my Essentia water because I'm bougie like that. So, okay. So jumping back into, so reflecting on our own leadership, like, I'm sure there have been times that like we've completely fallen just under each category of leadership, right? So whether that's empathy, like we've approached situations with poor empathy, we've approached situations not leading from the front. Like there's a bunch of things that I'm sure that we could be like, oh crap, like we totally dropped the ball in this area, right? And so at the end of the day though, you have to have this one realization. Dude, the white monsters slap. So good, so good. I like to mix it up a little bit. I try to mix it up that way and I'm not drinking the same thing. But anyway, our teams, families, they look at us as a prime example of leadership, right? And so the one thing that like I always try to ask myself is, am I leaving the right impression on the people that I'm getting around? So whether that's clients, whether that's teammates, family, my wife, anyone, right? Am I leaving the right impression as a good leader at the end of the day, right? And so there's 3 steps. All right, give me the number 3 in the chat. Okay, 3 steps to leading yourself. Okay, first one that you have to kind of realize is you have to develop a leadership identity. Okay, and we'll dive deeper here in a second. Okay, define your leadership identity. So develop that. Okay, second is you have to define your leadership initiatives. Okay, so like how do you take action on it? Okay, and then determine your leadership inputs. Ooh, that's my favorite one out of all of them. Determine your leadership inputs. And we'll talk about each three of these in depth a little bit more. But so let's talk about developing your leadership identity first. And at the end of the day, guys, like, there's no such thing as a sort of leader. Like, it's not like half in, half out, right? Like, there's really no such thing as like I hear all the time, it's like, yeah, I'm just like not a very good leader, or I'm just not a leader, right? Bullshit. Okay, I'm calling it out right now. Okay, everybody is a leader. Everyone leads in some sort of capacity. If you're a human being on this earth, you have some sort of leadership potential. Okay, and essentially, like, leaders are exactly who we are. And so, one thing that we have to recognize is that to be a good leader means that we have to have influence over people, right? Like, people show up to this, like this specific stream, right, on YouTube. They come to agency therapy because I have influence over how many people now? 6 concurrent viewers. Okay, so I've got enough influence to pull 6 people into my stream, which is incredible. That's a form of leadership, right? You have to have influence in order to do something like that. Like, it is completely tied to one another. And so when you go into your workplace, when you go into your home life, when you're, going to your softball team, whatever it might be, like, influence is tied to leadership, and leadership is tied to influence. And if you don't have good influence, you don't have good leadership. So remember, your leadership does matter. So one thing that we have to kind of start shifting in our mindset is we have to see ourselves as a leader. Okay, and when you start to see yourself as a leader, and when you start to have that positive reinforcement of I am a leader, and I can be a great leader, you start to do a few things. Like, one of them is you start to stand taller as an individual. So you start to take on more and more responsibility. You start to feel that confidence. I wish you guys could have seen the first couple agency therapies I did, or when I first got into a leadership position, because oh my gosh, it was awful. I just didn't feel very confident in it. So when you start to take on more leadership roles, when you start to get into it a little bit more, when you kind of identify as a leader, you start to stand taller as a person. Second thing is you start to think higher, right? Leaders, they need a higher level of thinking, right? You ever talk to a CEO and you're like, oh, dude, this dude's freaking smart. He's got his stuff together. It's an elevated view, right? And so how you think about great leaders, right? People like Elon Musk, okay? Right? You're dude, that dude is so smart. Okay? He has a very high, elevated view, even in his own mind, of I am extremely smart. I am a great leader. I lead a massive organization, okay? So when you can elevate your view of yourself, you start to think at a higher capacity. You start to think a little bit outside the box, right? And then lastly, you care deeper when you're a leader, right? And this one's a little bit tougher if you're an intrapreneur, right? If you're working inside of an organization and you're trying to lead from inside of the organization, or maybe you're not in a leadership position necessarily, right? It's hard to care a little bit deeper. But you start to care deeper when you're in a leadership position, right? You start thinking outside the box a little bit more. You start to do a little bit more work. You work the late nights. You get up early, all of that good stuff. You care deeper, okay? So that's a mental shift that we have to have, right? You have to see yourself as a leader, because these are the things that come along with being a great leader, and the benefits you get from seeing yourself as leaders. You stand taller, you think higher, and you care deeper. But here's the problem, right? Some of us don't necessarily see ourselves as a leader, and that's a problem for a few different reasons, right? One, if you don't see yourself as a leader, you kind of have this rookie mindset, and not so much of you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what you're talking about. It's more of a rookie mindset of you just don't see yourself as a leader. And in my opinion, that's one of the biggest rookie mindsets ever, of dude, you are a leader, right? So all of us in this room right here, right now, we're leaders, okay? And you have to start seeing yourself as a leader. And essentially being a leader isn't just something that you do. You wake up, you're today I'm a leader, right? It's essentially who we are. So when you go wake up, lead your team, dude, you're a freaking leader. So act like it, right? And so the second point that we talked about, so that was kind of revolving around, what did I say? That was revolving around kind of learning to lead yourself, and then those initiatives, developing a leadership identity. So you guys have to see yourself as a leader. Okay. Second one here is you have to define your leadership initiatives. Okay. Define your leadership initiatives. And this is like stuff that we really need to kind of take action on, right? And so something that you should really be asking yourself regularly is what specific traits you need to develop in your own leadership. Is it communication? Is it being candorous? I think that's the word. I'm gonna go with it. Candorous with our team. Like, do we speak openly and freely with the team? Okay. How do we give feedback? How do we take feedback? Okay, giving feedback is a huge part of leadership, but also taking feedback is part of leadership as well. Are you super defensive? What specific traits do you actually need to develop to become a better leader? A good question to ponder as you guys kind of leave today. Okay. And at the end of the day, guys, like, when it comes to leadership, I often see leaders as like some of like the best liars, and we often elevate ourselves in our own minds. And so you have to really kind of be honest with yourself and go develop some of those weak traits of like, it's kind of like one or the other, where people are either like so far gone from like leadership, they're like, yeah, I'm just not a leader, or I'm a bad leader. Or it's on the other end where they're like, oh, like, I'm a great leader, I'm the best leader. And they're like, they feel like they have nothing else to work on, right? which is funny to me. Deploying candor. Yes, have to deploy candor. Essential. Is there someone named Castle in here? Castle Raider? Raid it up, baby. Raid it up. Are you guys vibing with this? I hope so. If you're not vibing with this, let me know. We can talk about something else if you want to. But I'm vibing with it. I hope you guys are vibing with it too. Okay, so let's jump back in for a second here, okay? So, the last thing you have to do here is you have to actually develop your leadership inputs. And guys, this is the one everyone screws up, in my opinion. This is the hardest one because we are seeing inputs consistently. Like, we see inputs everywhere, okay? Like, if you think about life is all about inputs and outputs, right? Those are the two things. Like, we input things all day. We input food. We input what we watch, what we listen to, how people speak to us. Those are all inputs entering into ourselves, right? And then outputs, things that are coming out, okay? So, what is an input exactly? Okay, it's like what you put in, right? Pretty simple, okay? And the key here is like what you put in is exactly what you're going to get out, right? And so this is, I had this conversation with, who was it? Paul, my buddy Paul Daly, right? And he posted a story about this. Is like, so many times we are fixated on the outputs of like building businesses, right? So, for example, like hitting a revenue month of $100,000, okay? That is an output. Hitting $100,000 in a month. That's an output, right? Say you missed that. Well, oftentimes we get so fixated. I'm like, oh, shoot, we missed 100K per month. And guys, I hope you're ready for this mind shift change because it's wild. It's so good, okay? So we missed the 100K months and we're so fixated on the outcome, on the output, right? Rarely do we talk about the input, right? So what happened to where we missed our 100K month or our 10K month, whatever it is, right? What happened to where we actually missed that? What were the inputs that we were supposed to put in to get to 100K per month? How do we mess that up? Okay. So start measuring your inputs, not your outputs. Okay. Outputs are simple, man. It's like you did it or you didn't. Inputs are the hard part. Okay. So anyway, with that being said, okay, our outcomes, our outputs are often undesirable because we have unhealthy inputs. Ooh, I'll say that again. Okay. Often we have undesirable outcomes or undesirable outputs because we have unhealthy inputs. Okay. Shit. You guys should write that down. You should put it on a t-shirt. Put it on a live, laugh, love sign. Okay. And most leaders obsess. Yeah, leading indicators versus lagging indicators. Exactly. Okay. Most leaders obsess about outcomes. So you guys have to stop obsessing about outcomes. The best leaders will obsess about inputs. Okay. So be obsessive about the inputs because that's what matters. I talk about this all the time, like consistent and rhythmic, right? That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about inputs there. Boom. Mic fucking drop. Someone had to say it. Because this is stuff no one's talking about, okay? And so one thing I want to talk about your inputs are 2 whats and 1 who, okay? 2 whats and a who. Write that down. 2 whats and a who. So the first part, okay, the first what is what you consume. Ooh, this goes so deep. This goes so broad. This is like everything right here. He said, wait, say that again? I don't know how far behind you are, but I'll say it again. Most leaders obsess with outcomes. The best leaders obsess about inputs. Or maybe it was often we have undesirable outcomes because we have unhealthy inputs. So Conan, hopefully one of those is what you were looking for. But if you let me know, I've got a whole deck here. I'll send it over to you guys. You can play around with it. You can take my notes. Okay. So yeah, I'm not just this isn't off the top of my head. Okay. Yeah, 2 whats and a who, Conan. So 2 whats and a who. The first what is what you consume. Yep, there you go. If you guys want to, dude, type it in chat, write it down, whatever the hell. Okay. So what you consume is the first one. Okay. These are the inputs on a daily basis. So this could be what you're watching on YouTube, what you're watching on TV. This could be the books that you're reading. This could be the people that you're listening to. Okay. Which we'll talk about that. That's the who part, right? Okay. So what you consume. So if we went into your YouTube channel right now, what would be the most common inputs? Okay. And this is where people often kind of go off track is kind of like the what you consume. Okay. Because what you consume, guys, like it'll change the way you think about things, right? And the way you think changes the way that you lead people. And so be very careful about, what you're consuming. Like most people are on a junk food diet for their minds and souls. Like it's just facts. And what comes in your mind comes out in your leadership at the end of the day, right? So be careful of what you consume. And guys, don't get me wrong, like, dude, I freaking love the Nelk boys. Those dudes are freaking fire. Love that channel. They put out some great content, but it's like, dude, honestly, like kind of junk food, right? Junk food for the mind. But it's like, be able to measure like how much is actually coming in. How much are we consuming to grow versus consuming to just have enjoyment, right? It's like all those dopamine hits, right? That's like the hot topic right now is like, oh, like, dude, bro, like, watching garbage TV, like dopamine hits, or playing video games, dopamine hits. I'm not saying there's not a place for that. Like, I enjoy video games. I enjoy watching, my garbage TV as well, but put a little measurement behind it. Like, how much are you actually watching of that stuff? Okay. So that's the first one. Number 1. Number 2, what you attempt. Okay. What you attempt. I love these comments, by the way. So number 1 is what you consume. Number 2 is what you attempt. So hopefully you guys are following along with that. Okay. Guys, you don't get better by doing the same thing. Okay. Just doesn't happen. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Called insanity, right? So you don't get better by doing the freaking same thing, but you also don't get stronger by doing the same weights, sets, reps in the gym, right? Kind of a similar concept. So, got to do things differently, right? And so, some things that we have to do is we have to attempt some new things in life, right? And when we attempt new things, a couple things are going to happen. 1, your humility is going to increase. Have you guys ever tried a sport that you weren't very good at? Probably most of us, right? And you went with friends that we're going to play I don't know, what's a sport that I suck at? Soccer, right? Okay, we're going to play soccer. You want to come play soccer? Sure, I guess. It's the worst sport out of all of them, but I'll come play soccer, right? Dude, your humility has to increase so much to go play soccer with people that actually know how to play soccer when you don't know the first thing about soccer. I'm out there trying to pick up the ball and throw it into the net, right? So your humility has to increase because you're so bad at it. Humility checks, right? Super important for us. Second thing is you get comfortable being uncomfortable, right? When you try new things. It's a good place to be. If you guys ever spoken on stage, speaking on stage is hard, but eventually you get comfortable with it. You get comfortable with the uncomfortableness. And I haven't spoken on a lot of stages, but at the end of the day, you always get a little bit of nerves going up there, but it gets a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more comfortable as you do it. Okay. The last thing it does is it builds your confidence when you attempt new things, right? So when you attempt new things, when you're trying things outside your comfort zone, It's going to build on that confidence. You're going to be more confident at other areas of life. Making sense so far? So number one, what you consume. As your consumption, guys, you should have a consumption diet, right? Just like we have a diet for our nutrition, right? You should have a consumption diet. You should be planning what you're going to study. Otherwise, the algorithms are going to choose for you, right? Who you follow, YouTube channels that you're watching, right? The algorithm chooses that stuff. It puts it in front of your face. You don't have any choice there. Okay. Number two was, what was number two? What you attempt, right? So attempt new things, guys. Challenge yourself. Get outside your comfort zone. Okay. Freaking do a live stream. Like, this shit's not comfortable. Like, I have to prepare for this stuff. Otherwise, I'm going to sound like an idiot. And I might sound like an idiot. I might sound like an idiot anyway. Okay. Last one. Number three, the who. Okay. So 2 whats and 1 who. Who you surround yourself with. Got to measure that inner circle, guys. So crucial. I don't let very many people in. Like, very few. Like, I have a very close, tight-knit circle of people that I trust. People that elevate me. People that will, that I can help, but can also help me, right? People that are on the same path. And, like, we've all heard, like, the phrase, like, you're the average of your 5 closest friends, right? Okay. I mean, there's truth to that. Who you surround yourself with will elevate your mindset, will elevate how you live, it will elevate your health, right? Like, if you hang out with friends that just eat junk food all day, that don't work out, they're gonna drag you down. They go out drinking, do drugs, okay? Like, dude, like, you're gonna be a part of that. So, if you want to be, say, like a better parent, better husband, better leader, better boyfriend, girlfriend, in better shape, have more success, you gotta look around and surround yourself with people who are better than you, right? I've got a good spectrum of friends, right? I've got some friends that are farther ahead than me. Okay, they push me to be better. Okay, I also have some friends that aren't as successful as me. It's totally fine to have those, and I help bring them up. But they have to have a lot of the same values as me. They got to be striving for greatness like me. Okay, like, great example. So, like, Oz is in the chat. Like, Oz and I have been, becoming closer friends. Okay, he's a client. I'm a client of his, vice versa, right? So we've become close because we're on the same mission. Now, Oz is just starting out his entrepreneurial journey. Okay. He's crushing it, by the way. Fucking just going hard, providing so much value to this marketplace. But here's the thing: is if he didn't have the same values as me, if he wasn't a hustler, I probably wouldn't be very attracted to hanging around with him or having conversations, or like when he rings me up on the phone, like I probably wouldn't answer, right? Or I'd push him to text message, right? But it's like, dude, like, I'm pretty sure Oz probably feels like, damn, like, dude, like, I feel like Josh is actually my friend. Hopefully that's the case. I feel like you're my friend, Oz. Love you, bro. So, a couple things that you guys should kind of ask yourself leaving agency therapy today. Like, hey, like, what can we consume different? Okay, are we consuming too much junk food? Okay, if that's the case, then stop, right? And we're all guilty of this. Trust me. I have something called my degenerate weekends. I do it every about 60 days. Like, dude, I'll go and I'll just binge, right? I'll take some edibles. I'll have some drinks. Play some video games. I think it's healthy. I think it's cool to be doing that. Okay. Number 2, what will you attempt to create more humility and growth? Okay. I think, who said this? Content is so hard for me, right? So Conan, like, dude, gotta attempt some things that are gonna create some humility and growth in your life, and that might be creating more content. If you want to get on the content train, man, let me know. Trying to crush content right now. So, like, dude, you gotta do stuff like this, right? And then, who do I need in my life, right, to stretch my leadership? Who's gonna bring me up to the next level? Measure your inner circle, guys. It's so crucial. It's so funny. I was telling someone this the other day, and it's gonna sound so arrogant, but I don't care. I'm gonna share it with you guys anyway. I will get, like, calls, or I'll get text messages from certain friends, past friends, like, college friends, or not even necessarily my college friends, but like people that I've met, like in the entrepreneurial space, and they'll be like, yo, like, let's do this. And I'm like, man, like, I just don't really want to. Like, it almost makes me sick to my stomach to have to go and do those things. And I feel bad saying it, but at the same time, it's like some of these people just aren't on the same path as me. They're not striving for the same level of like growth as I am. Like, dude, I don't take many weekends off. I don't really take many nights off. Like, instead of like coming home and having a beer and watching Breaking Bad, I'm here with you guys jamming on agency therapy. Like, that's my decision, right? And so for me, like, I don't know, like, you need people to stretch you in life, and if your friends aren't stretching you in that way, I don't know, might be time to reorganize that inner circle a little bit, right? So boom, that's what I have on leadership. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Take a little sippy here. If you guys are just joining, what's up? See, we got a few more viewers, which is pretty dope. If you guys are just joining, I hope you guys are enjoying the content so far. You could actually, what's great about YouTube live streams that Twitch doesn't have is that you can actually rewind during the live stream. So if you missed a little bit, go back and you might pull some good value out of what we talked about so far. But that's pretty much it, guys. Those are the two things I want to chat about. It took me 47 minutes to get through all of that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'm gonna try and do like more prepped material for these streams. So hopefully you guys will continue coming back. So yeah, it's all good stuff. So let's do this, guys. Let's jump into the freaking Discord. Yeah, sound good? Got any tips for attracting A players? Let's do it. So yeah, let's open the Discord, guys. So if you guys are not, what's up, Daniel? Good to see you, brother. I think I see you over in, yeah, you're already in the agency therapy Discord. So real quick, let me link you guys. If you're not in the Discord already, we'll get you in the Discord. Let me invite the peeps over. Yeah, yeet. Oh, nope, that's the wrong link. I almost sent you something I was definitely not supposed to send you. That would have been so bad. All right. Edit invite link. Generate new link. Copy. All right, let's try this again. All right, fam. Jump in the Discord. Get your booties in here. Wow, I already got some people in here. That's pretty dope. All right, let's jam for a minute. Now, I do want to warn you guys. In the Discord, it's going to be like 30-40 seconds delayed from the stream, so you could feel free to keep the stream up. Well, okay, keep the stream up. Don't close the stream because I need the freaking viewership. All right, we're struggling out here. We're struggling. Okay, so keep the stream up, but you can minimize it or whatever. Put it in the corner. That way we could just jam inside of the Discord channel. So we'll get you. We'll let everyone else join. I think Oz needs to jump in here. There he is. And yeah, we can start opening up for question. But Oz, let's bring you up here first, man, and let's jam on how to find A players.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Okay. Honest opinion.
Okay.
How was it? How was the actual stream?
It was pretty good. I think you need more content.
More content.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like because like I think you kind of went through the topics pretty well, pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have more time than you think, right?
Yeah. I mean, we technically had 10 minutes left, so I could probably do 3 topics.
Yeah. You could probably like comfortably do 3 topics, or do 2 and intro a third one for the next one. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, like a little cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
Hook them for next time, you know?
Yeah. I'm about it. I actually really like that idea. So, always trying to build on this. So if you guys have recommendations, feel free to drop them. I'm like, I really want to like now that I'm back from traveling and all that, I really want to push this Discord channel. I want to start building this community to like really help each other. So, if you guys know of any agency owners, feel free to bring them in here. Would love to have them. But anyway, Oz, let's chat for a second here, dude. So attracting A players. Yeah. So we actually have a module in our course that talks about attracting A players on a D+ budget. And so, one thing that you kind of have to think about is one, like opportunities at hand, right? So that's what's great about joining like a startup is that there's of course it's a gamble, right? But there's opportunities to get in early and snag a leadership spot super early. So you have that benefit. Like, it does kind of suck because startups, like even mine, it's like we can't pay the people the best, but there is chance for a lot of upward mobility. So that's something that you really have to position when people are first coming on, and you have like kind of like a smaller agency and you're trying to get scrappy with salaries and all of that stuff, right? So
Yeah.
that's kind of the first thing to think about. The second thing to kind of go after, a couple different things that you can do. It's kind of, I wouldn't say it's like black hat, but do like poaching people from other agencies. Um, Great tactic to get people, right? And you can do this through LinkedIn. You can actually find out who's working where through LinkedIn, and shoot them a DM. And you don't necessarily be like, hey, like I want you to work for me, but like be like, hey, I'm looking for someone to do post production in my company. This is what we're about. This is who we work with. If you know of anyone, or if you know of anyone that would be interested, would you send them my way, right? And so, and I always tell people this is like, you guys like don't be afraid to like go after other people's employees. And I know it sounds so bad. It sounds so bad. But here's the thing, right? They could really just not be enjoying their job. They could be a part of a very bad culture. They could be miserable in their position and they're looking for better and new opportunity. And if you can provide that to them, then do it.
Yeah.
Right? And so I don't want people to be afraid to like go and actually find the talent that they want because someone is not providing them the opportunity or the culture fit that they are looking for. And if you feel like you're building something special, you should feel vindicated to go and which I don't know if vindicated was the right word. Convicted is the right word. Convicted to go and get that person, right?
Yeah.
Like they have the best shot with you. And that's like the same thing on the client side, right? Of like, dude, like I feel that people have the best shot with me as a client, right? Versus anybody else. Okay, it's just a conviction that I have. So that's one thing to kind of think about. And then as far as like, you know, other places to go, like I always tell people like it's probably too soon for you, Oz, but like as you guys grow and scale organizations, should always be throwing a little bit of money at like Indeed posts. Like should always have that pipeline rolling. Always.
Yeah.
Collecting resumes, collecting, doing interviews. Like if someone is like stellar, do an interview with them. Like you're like, dang, like this person actually would be a great fit. Like we're not really ready to bring them on yet. Still do the interview. Okay, put them through the interview process, talk to them, and then hopefully when you're ready, you can bring them on. Right. Yeah. So always be collecting resumes. If you guys don't have like a portal on your website of like for people to submit resumes, start doing that. Okay, put that in there. Speaking of, I need to do this on my own website, but like we have this in our agency, just a place for people to submit their resume and be able to get into our pipeline. Okay. And then the last thing, guys, is culture. Okay. Culture is massive to attracting prospects for your agency or your business in general. If they don't have a good understanding of your culture, chances are they're not going to reach out to want to work for you. So where I had a huge benefit in my agency is that we were a creative studio, right? So we had cameras rolling always, and we had a full post-production team, and it was beautiful. And we always had good content rolling out, especially internal content that we could show the outside world of like, this is what it's like to work here. And it's cool. We got freaking ping pong tables. We got a fridge full of like all the drinks that you'd ever want, all the snacks. It's a cool environment, like black concrete floors, white walls, big screen TVs all over the place, freaking people riding around on hoverboards, sets and cool lights and smoke machines and fucking Porsches, all that shit, right? So like that's like part of like building a great team is like they have to like kind of turn your head at the culture and be like, damn, that'd be dope to work there. So that's like kind of like the final piece. So got to have the culture, got to consistently be reaching out to people. And then eventually when you've got such a good culture, you can really stop a lot of that stuff, right? We had people, I'm not kidding, I interviewed 5 people. So at like the height of our agency, I was interviewing about 5 people a week. Like every Friday I would just bring them in or jump on a Zoom call. Be like, all right, sweet. I'm going to do 5 interviews today. We're going to see who's a good fit. And like, these are all vetted, by the way. So like they're high level interviews. Like I'm not wasting my time with just interviewing random people. We were actually doing 5 interviews per week because we were hiring fast. And I always wanted a good full pipeline of candidates.
Yeah.
Is that helpful?
Yeah, that's helpful.
Okay.
Yeah, we spent some cash on LinkedIn for like a summer intern,
Hmm.
like a content intern kind of a deal. And yeah, it was definitely worth it. We had like 180 people come through,
Yeah.
and even had like some people from like NYU. I think somebody from like Stanford. Uh, so
And that's the
definitely,
thing too, is like when you're when you're like a content studio, or like what you're doing with like working with, entrepreneurs and gamers and all of that, it's like, dude, it's such an attractive job. Like, it's fun, it's fast paced, you can do it from home,
yeah,
it's like, dude, it's like I don't think you'll have problems getting people through the door. It's just like higher level people, like eventually being able to pay them enough, right?
yeah, yeah, 100% agree. Yeah, I think that's like my only hold up there. That's why I was kind of like looking to leverage like an intern. I was like, if I can find somebody that I can hire in a year to a year and a half, or even 6 months, right? Like maybe they're like a December grad, could be at a really great position to start to make some moves there,
Sure. Yeah.
for somebody that can have some upward momentum.
Mm,
Finding my Andrew Deitch, you know.
that's right. You need one of those. Yeah, you need someone that's really gonna take the reins and be able to like kind of take over the creative process, and so that you can get out of like the fulfillment side. Like, that's really your next step in all of this,
Yeah,
is pulling that up. So
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm starting to see that now. And even just like what is it? Yeah, one of the interesting things that I did was I made him go through actually your account, and I was like, tell me what you would improve on like the editing or the styling or whatever.
mm.
And very quickly found out she was not the one.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I mean, so for you, like cultural fit is really important. Like, these guys got to speak the language and not necessarily know like everything. Like, you work with a lot of agency owners, but like they don't need to necessarily know everything about agency owners, but like kind of like more like the pop culture. Like, in my opinion, like agency and gaming kind of run parallel to each other. Of like,
Yeah,
we kind of have the same vibes, speak the same language.
yeah,
So you need people that understand that culture very well.
yeah. So
Cool, dude.
I appreciate the help.
Of course, anytime. More questions. Let's bring them up, baby. Daniel, Conan, what's up? Samir, Nacho, Anthony, Lil Snooze in the house. Good to see you guys. If you guys are on the YouTube stream still, you can come jump in the Discord, drop the link in the chat. But happy to answer other questions. Come on up. Actually, like half of you guys are like in my program in some sort of way, which I absolutely love it. You guys are getting all the Josh vibes today. Snooze coming on up.
Yo, yo, what's going on?
What up, Brody? You doing all right?
I'm doing great, brother. How you doing?
Dude, I'm doing great. Just been grinding recently.
Dude, I feel like you've been like around the globe recently. Like,
Yeah,
honestly, like, tell me about it. Tell me what you were up to.
yeah, dude. So essentially was up or down in Miami for a weekend for an event that I was speaking at called Weekend MBA. I don't know if you know Colin Castrina, but his dad and Bradley put on an event. I spoke at that one, and then I went up to Denver 2 weekends ago, and that Denver trip was actually really cool. Really high level group of people there. And that one was agency found, or wasn't called agency founders, but it was a lot of agency founders were there. That was base camp, and then back down to Miami for the third weekend for Geek Out. So it was quite the 3 week sprint, but glad I'm back. Glad I'm getting back into routine because I miss doing agency therapy.
Oh, for sure. Like, the pictures look super hard. I loved the pictures of you and John. Like, everything you were doing, I was keeping up with, and it looked super sick. So I just
Let's
wanted to
go.
say congratulations on that, man. It's
Thank you,
honestly,
man.
it's sick, man. Looking like a rock star on tour and shit.
I
You've been having a
appreciate you, bro.
blast.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we are going all in on content. Really starting this past month, we really jumped in all in on content. We brought on John and I are splitting a videographer right now, so he's full time between the both of us, and so he's just shooting like every other day pretty much. So he'll come with me, and I'll go with John, and yeah, like we're just shooting as much content as possible. We brought Oz on for the post production side of things, and so now Oz, like, all we do is shoot, and then Oz will edit everything for us. Him and his team will edit for us, and it's like, dude, it's so fast. Like, we get super quick turnaround times. Like, I just got a message from my videographer because he like edits all my photos and stuff. Like, just straight fire, dude. Like it's so good.
I bet.
And we just got him a new camera too, and we're dropping sauce, dude. It's sick.
That's huge, bro. That's huge. That's major.
So yeah, man. What's new with you? I see
Um,
you dropping some music, right?
yeah, I dropped a brand new song and video. I've really been able to kind of focusing on what the fuck my agency does in a way that's actually unique and different. So
Yeah.
I've been able to, I've just basically had opportunities just from my network come to me where I've been able to actually experiment with what I do well, what I like doing, and how I can kind of stand out in my marketplace. And I feel like I've really kind of solidified that now, and I have a good case study under my belt, and I'm working
Yep.
with some cool people. So that's something like as far as business goes, I'm super happy about. Um,
Nice, dude.
I bought a Porsche on Friday, which is kind of cool. That was something I've
Oh,
always wanted.
damn, dude. Let's go. Congrats. That's awesome. Why
Nothing crazy, is it? A
why
little beater,
Porsche?
but that's just my favorite car manufacturer. They make the best vehicles, in my opinion. People may dispute that, but I think they're just great looking and
Yeah.
timeless. And
Yeah, dude.
I don't know. I like
They
them.
are
I like them.
timeless.
So
Yeah, they're dope, dude. Been around a lot of Porsches in my agency career. Um,
yeah,
our CEO had quite a few of them, so uh, they're I mean they're beasts, dude. They're absolute animals.
yeah. Mine's just a little boy whip for the time being, but
Hey man,
I'm happy with it. I'm super
got to
happy with
start
it.
somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah.
Y-
Keep in
y-
mind, I'm only 21, so I'm
yeah,
happy with
dude.
that.
100, dude. I still don't have a Porsche. I'm actually getting a new car this week. I don't know what I'm getting yet. But
Like a brand new car.
I'll probably get a used one. I don't know. I just
That's good.
yeah, my
Dave
dad.
Ramsey was gonna be upset with you for a sec.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, my dad owns a used car dealership, and so I'm just gonna run over there and be like, all right, give it new whip, give me in it.
What do you
But
feel like? What do you feel like you want? What do you confident?
that's a good question. Honestly, like I'm not like a huge like I don't know. I'm just not a big car person. Like I don't care. Like it could like I may spend very minimal time in my car. Um, and so I like for me like I would rather have like the new apartment that we just got for the office. Like that dude, that thing's so sick. Like I would much rather spend my money there than spend it on
Yeah,
a car
that's amazing.
because I just spend more time at at the apartment than I do on a car. So I don't know. I'll get something like probably like a 2019 something, but I don't know. Like I drive like a 2012 Chevy Cruze right now. I was like, I'm gonna drive this thing until the wheels fall off, because I literally just
Yeah,
don't care.
it's a
So
Chevy, so it probably will soon. So
yeah, yeah, that's very true. That's very true. It's struggling right now. That's why I'm getting rid of it. I'm like, all right, I need to get something different. So I don't know. We'll
yeah,
see. I'll keep you updated.
yeah. No, we'll talk. I didn't have necessarily any questions for you. I haven't spoken to you in, like, it feels like a million years. I just wanted to catch up in a public format, so hopefully everybody listening didn't mind that. But fuck.
Dude, it's good to hear from
Um,
you, man. Are you still doing the
Likewise, brother.
Omegle YouTube videos?
I took a break from that because I actually didn't. I stopped enjoying talking to degenerates online late at night. Believe it
There
or
are a
not.
lot of
So
degenerates.
yeah, I was like going on there and consistently talking with like the scum of the earth. I'm like, this isn't worth it. I'll find my way.
Yeah,
So I just kind of focused on my agency, and I've been growing pretty steadily since then. So I'm happy with where I'm at right now.
I love it,
Does
dude.
that make sense?
You're crushing, bro. Keep it up.
Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it. Talk soon.
All right, dude. See ya. Crew, who else? Who else we got? Come hang out. Come ask some questions. What do you got for us, Daniel? Samir? Conan? In the building?
My friend, how are you?
Bro, I'm doing great. So they just opened a new Nike store right below my office.
No,
Yo, bro,
no.
dangerous, dude. I went down there and
Dude,
I was like, yeah, I'll just go take a look, and I ended up spending like $160. I was like, damn it.
dude,
It's
I
like they
love
got
their
me.
hoodies.
Dude, that's all I buy. I got some hoodies. I got
Yeah.
they have like these like long sleeve like cotton shirts or whatever, like but
Mm.
they're super lightweight and they're super comfy, and I got one of those too. It's the
Dude,
one
you gotta get
it's the
like
one I'm wearing
some
right
of
now.
their joggers. Like they're a little bit expensive, I would say like 80, $90, but dude, they're so good.
They're on it. Yeah.
Like, yeah,
I'm a
oh my God.
big Lulu jogger fan.
So okay, so
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
know Sammy Johnson.
Yeah, Sammy
So
G
yeah,
Fit.
yeah, of
Sammy's
course.
a homie, dude.
Yeah.
Love Sammy.
So he's a big Lulu guy as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I got him on the Zara train.
Okay.
So
Respect.
so
Respect.
right.
Well,
So
you know why he's a big Lulu fan? And
why?
why I'm a big Lulu fan? Is
Why?
because he's in the fitness world. is in the fitness industry. We get 25% off. Yeah,
Oh,
and so
really?
yeah, I
Yeah, I
used to
didn't know that.
be so I used to be a way back in the day before I started in the agency space. I used to be a fitness coach, and I used to
That's good.
yeah I used to train. I did train the conditioning for a while and trained some athletes, but moved
Yeah.
into general population after that, and yeah, so we have like they call it like the Sweat Collective, and so yeah,
Yeah.
I get 25% off all Lululemon apparel.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, man, and
There
like
you
I'm not even in the training space anymore. They just haven't taken my discount away, so I'm like, thanks, appreciate you.
go. Yeah, no, I spoke to this eight-figure company today. That was fun.
Let's go.
Uh, yeah, and you know, Nick helped me a lot with like what to expect and like,
Yep.
how to pretty much uh take care of things, and the conversation went fine, but it was I think so I got to a place where it was like, okay, they pretty much trust me, they know I can provide it. It was more about whether or not they had the capacity to even not really bring anybody on, but it's more of was like, was there a need? Sure. But he was like, so I was speaking to the CMO,
Yep.
and he was like, okay, cool, I'll go talk to the owners and the other marketing guys, and then we'll just get back to you within a month or so. And I was
Uh,
like, okay. So it's like,
jeez.
yeah, I was like, right. So I was like,
and
I'm like,
and that's the thing too. Like
right.
the larger brands, right, that you're
Mhm.
trying to work with. Like,
Right.
dude, there's like so many hoops you have to jump through. Like, they have like their
Right.
own like marketing departments they got to push things through. Like, there's so many layers of approval. That's
Right.
like it's fun to work with large brands, and Nicholas would tell you this as well. Like, but it's like they have like like weird billing
Mm-hmm.
requirements. It's like they'll put you on like a net 60 net like in like
Right.
we've even seen like net 90 net 180. It's like
Yeah.
like you're not gonna pay me for 90 days. Like you want me to
Yeah.
fulfill all the work across 90 days and then I get paid. And it's like
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, like that's how we work. And it's like you have no control over it. So if you're going for large
Right.
brands, just expect stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
unfortunately, you can't just go in there and be like, this is how we work, this is how we do things. And it's like they're like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, like we're gonna go find someone else then. And it's like, damn it. It's like that
Yeah.
backfired.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
No.
yeah, you kind of
Yeah.
have to play by the rules a little bit.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I'm trying to get on a content train.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm just not consistent with it, I
Yeah.
would say. I can say I have pretty good content. I've done it a lot in the past. People loved it, but I don't know. I'm just not consistent. And partially, it's like fear. It's like, like, what do people think,
I
or
feel that, dude.
and yeah, I'm sure everybody does, and
Yeah,
even I do, and I just do it, and I'm like, oh, that wasn't so bad. But then it's like, okay, can I stay consistent with it? And
dude.
honestly, like, part of me is like, okay, let's create this or let's create that, and I'll just start overthinking about it rather than it's like, like the best advice, dude, just go create, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
but it's like, so who's gonna edit my videos and who's gonna be doing this and
Yep.
how does this work and how does that work? And it's
Yeah.
just, and then it just never gets done. So
There's
I
so many
think,
layers, man.
right, and I think I just have to like just start,
Yep.
and
You
so
you want to hear my
that's
recommendation for content?
yes.
Your lowest barrier to entry with content is Twitter. Twitter's so easy, dude. Like,
Really?
oh, dude, so easy. So, I use an app called Hype Fury,
What's it
and
called? Hype Fury?
yeah, Hype Fury,
Okay.
HYPEFURY. Um,
Okay.
and Hype Fury is like an auto scheduler, specifically
Got it.
made for Twitter. It does some
Gotcha.
cross posting as well, so you can post directly to LinkedIn. You could post to Instagram if you have a photo to throw in with it. You could post to Facebook as well. So it will
Mm,
cross post, so it's kind of nice. But it's like it's all
okay.
written content, right? And so
Sweet.
what I do is I'll just do like I'll sit down for like an hour, 2 hours. I'll stack like how many books do you have on your bookshelf? Probably a ton, right?
100 and
100,
something.
right? Okay, stupid
Yeah.
amount. So what I'll do is I'll grab like 6 books, all different topics, and I'll stack
Yeah.
6 books on my desk, and I'll
Uh-huh.
just open the book and I'll read like a paragraph. I'll be like, okay, how can I turn this into my own words and
Yeah.
post it? And
Yeah.
that's how I'll create 7 days worth of Twitter content, 4 posts across 7 days
Mm,
by stacking 6 books on my desk, and I'll just flip through all of them. And what I do is I stay on one book and then I'll spread those tweets out. So I'll open up like a book on say operations or building systems, and I'll open up to a random page. I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna take something from this, and I'll put it into a tweet, and then I'll move like to the next day at a different time slot, because like you don't want to post like a bunch of things on systems on the same day. You want to spread them out a little bit, right? So like different topics for each tweet. So I go to the next day and I'll do that, and then I'll go to the next day, do that, and then I'll put that book to the side once I get what I feel like I've gotten out of it, and then I'll move to the next book. And like I will turn content so fast on Twitter. And there's so much opportunity on Twitter. It's insane. So
Really?
yeah. So if you ever look at the statistics around who makes money on Twitter, you'll notice that the average salary or average income of someone that uses Twitter is about $70,000 a year, which is much higher than any of the other platforms out there. So it is a higher, more affluent group of people that use Twitter. So there's a ton of your ideal clients in there. Would highly recommend jumping in there if you haven't yet. I posted in there.
No, I don't post at all there. So
So in my opinion, it's the easiest because there's no filming, there's no post production. There's like the content idea generation is relatively easy. And what I'll do is I'll do 3 threads a week. So I like will actually take time and actually develop a thread that is like high value. Everything else is just like kind of like random bullshit in my opinion, that you're just like, all right, so I just need like filler content here, stuff that's kind of witty, all of that, like you kind of just throw a mix of stuff in there. So that's where I started. I got really consistent with that, and then I was like, okay, I'm kind of at a point now where I can start creating other content, and so I kind of went full bore with it. I spent a lot of money on bringing on like a full-time videographer, and then also having Oz at the disposal for post-production. I was like, I know that I'm really bad at creating content for myself, especially video content. So I'm going to hire a videographer to follow me around, and I'm going to hire a post-production team.
How much does that cost you, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, so a full-time videographer is probably going to cost you around $3,000. So the hack here for finding a full-time videographer to follow you around, go to a car meet. So if you have like cars, if you have, where do you live again?
I'm in Jersey. We have car meet. I was at one like a month ago.
There you go. So you're gonna see a bunch of kids with like cameras running around, like taking pictures of cars and stuff. Just approach one and be like, "Hey man, like, mind if I see some of the pictures you're taking? If they look good, be like, sweet, like, you looking for like a full-time gig, shooting content?"
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, sure. Like, why not? Like, I'll have that conversation. And so you can, and that's what we did. That we literally built an entire content agency that did multiple 7 figures a year off of the back of kids that we met at a car show and could shoot good content, because the people that shoot cars, they have great composition skills of like they can compose a really great photo, and a lot of times that will translate into good video content as well. Of course, there's a little bit of coaching that needs to happen there, but and they're relatively cheap because they're so young. They're relatively cheap. So in total, we pay our videographer about $3,000 a month, and then post production. I think Oz's packages start at like roughly $1,500 to $2,000, and then they can get much higher depending on the complexity of the post production that you want. Like if you like actually like want the full service where it's like he'll do the script writing, he'll do the posting, he'll freaking jump on a call with you and like actually like teach you what to say. Like he'll do that, or you could just have him do the post production as well, which that's what he does for me.
Sweet. Thank you.
Oh, okay. I said $899 start, so which is like kind of like basic fees. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, gotcha. Sweet. Thank you.
So that's where I would start if I were you, and then add it on. But like the post production team, I think needs to come first before the videographer. I did it both at the same time, but the post production is going to be like the hardest thing. It takes the most time, in my opinion, unless you have a team that can crank it out super fast and like that's all they do, right? So I would highly recommend, like, if you're going to start in video, get someone to handle your post production, because dude, that shit takes so much time. Like you'll spend like 2 or 3 hours just editing, a vlog or like a YouTube video, and you're like, damn, like, why am I doing this? Like it's not, the fruit is not worth the squeeze, or the juice is not worth the squeeze. So get a post production team first. Normally you can get away with doing like under $1,000 to start on that, and then scale it up as you create more content.
Sweet. Thank you.
Dope. Other questions? Got Daniel, Samir, Nacho, Anthony. What's up? Come chill. Come hang out. Daniel, let's bring you up, brother.
Yo, Josh.
What
So
up,
great
dude?
you're back.
Yeah, dude, I'm happy to be back. I like the routine. I like the regular schedule, so I'm happy to finally be back on the normal cadence.
Yeah, great. The hour is a little bit early for me for the live stream, but
Sure.
it's perfect.
That's okay, man. Well, you could either tune in towards the end of the live stream. You could always go back and watch it too, because it'll automatically save to YouTube, which is beautiful. But yeah, glad you could make the Q&A.
Yeah, definitely. I'll rewind back. So, I mean, first of all, yeah, I wanted to say that Twitter, yeah, that's my entry point into content creation, and I started a few weeks ago and posting like regularly every day, like 3 or 4 posts, like 3 or 4 tweets, and yeah, it's been going good so far.
Good. Awesome. Yeah, I started, so I've had Twitter since 2017 or 2018 and never used it. I think so at the beginning of this year, I had 35 followers on Twitter because I've never used it. And so,
Yes, and up in 2013 as well. and
yeah,
Nothing.
yeah, exactly. Like I don't know, I just never used it. And so finally, started using it this year. So like at the first of the year, I was like, all right, like I'm going to do Twitter content. Everyone's been telling me to do it. I'm going to jump on board. And so like I don't have like a crazy following, but I've got like over 900 followers now. But it's like that's 6 months of just consistent posting, and like that's the key with content. So 947 followers. You just got to get consistent, and then every once in a while you'll have like a tweet that just pops, and you'll gain like 70, 80, 100 followers from that one. And it's like, oh shoot, like that kind of feels good. I'm gonna keep going. So just know like those wins do happen, and that's what I love about Twitter is its organic reach is still fantastic. So anytime someone likes a tweet of yours, retweets, comments, it shows up on their followers' feeds, right? So that's why it's so important for like you to engage with other people as well, is so they engage back with you, and when they see your stuff, they'll like it. Other people will see it.
Right, and that's how you grew. Basically, whenever you
Yep.
you had your post feature on someone else's feed, that's when you
Exactly.
got more followers.
Exactly. Yeah, and I try to like be deliberate about like sharing other people's stuff as well. Like if I genuinely like it and I'm like, dang, like this is a great post, like I'll do like a quote retweet. And I always recommend quote retweets over just standard retweets, because quote retweets, like you can add like a little piece of value into it, and be able to like kind of add on to the conversation versus just retweeting it. It just like shows up on your feed. It's just not as good in my opinion. So do quote retweets. I do a couple of those a day if I can. Like at the end of the day, or like I don't know, when I'm using the bathroom or something, I'll just jump on Twitter, quote retweet like 2 or 3 people, and then like that's my engagement for the day.
Cool. Do you think if I post quick videos, it would give any sort of advantage, or like
On Twitter?
or anything like that on Twitter? Yeah.
That's a good question. I haven't really tested it, so I can't really say for sure of like if it would be very good or not. But what I can tell you is that Reels and TikToks are being very generously rewarded on on Instagram and TikTok right now. So man, if you guys aren't doing short form content on there, dude, you have to get on it. There's just so much great organic reach on those platforms right now, and it's a volume game. You have to do a decent amount of it. So, but like you can do it pretty much all in platform, and do like all of your editing and all of that inside of the platform. So, would highly recommend jumping on that as well as soon as you can, because who knows how often or how long they're going to reward short form content for. You never know. So like very rarely do we see this much organic reach on a platform like Instagram.
Cool.
Oz mentioned if you do post on Twitter videos, subtitle it. So put subtitles on there, which in my opinion you should subtitle like pretty much any video that you do.
Cool, great. But not on TikTok, I guess. Maybe Instagram, yes, but TikTok.
Uh,
Can you,
what do you mean?
yeah, how does it work with TikTok? You can also subtitle?
Yeah, you would just have to do it outside the platform.
Okay, got it.
So you know, like Instagram and TikTok, they'll subtitle it for you, but you have to do it outside the platform if you just do it on TikTok.
Cool, awesome.
Cool, dude.
I'm also thinking about coming to the States in August, maybe beginning of September as well.
I love it.
But I still haven't decided. But do you think that there's like good conferences going on that are worth traveling from the other side of the world to?
100%. Yeah. Any of the geek outs are fantastic. You're gonna run into some really awesome people. So
Cool.
yeah, Geek Out is a great one. I'm trying to think of some other ones that are going to be in August. I actually don't know many that happen during the summer. I know the only one that does it consistently is going to be Geek Out. So I would just watch their website. I know they're doing one in Barcelona here in like the next month, but they're coming back to the U.S. They're doing one in Los Angeles. I believe that one's in August because I think I'm speaking at that one if I'm not mistaken. So that one's in Los Angeles in either August or September. I can't remember exactly, but
Awesome. So basically, it's just Geek Out
yeah, Geek Out's
around that
probably
week.
going to be the best one in my opinion.
Cool.
And yeah, like I said, I just don't know of any other ones off the top of my head that are running into summer.
Cool, awesome, man. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to catch up in person.
100%, man. Would love that. Yeah, let me know. Let me know when you're in the U.S. and hopefully we can run into each other.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
So apparently there's a Geek Out in August. Also, Nick teased that they're doing one in Austin soon, which Austin's a great place to go if you haven't been before. And then he also talked when I was there. A bunch of people wanted a Nashville event, so I'm hoping he does one in Nashville. That would be ideal.
Cool. So basically, in August, it's Austin.
Uh, that's a good question. I don't know. We'll have to kind of keep an eye out on their website because they kind of shift dates around depending on what they can book. I think so. I'll just pay attention to the website.
Oh, I see. Yeah, because I know that it's not updated at the moment.
Yeah, it's
So
not.
yeah, I guess
Yeah, just watch that and like Shaq's Instagram and stuff. He'll normally post stuff about it.
awesome. Thanks, man.
Of course, brother. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too.
All right, Mr. Nacho. Let's bring you up, brother.
Yo, what's going on, Josh? How you doing?
Good, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing well. You know, it's been trying to push a little bit more on the initiative, kind of I guess not initiative, but the idea you had brought up. I think last time I talked to you about doing the case studies for the TikTok
Yeah.
ad services, and it's seemingly taking a liking to people. I think it's just getting the volume necessary for it has been a little bit of the struggle, just being able to get out enough in front of enough people. But I don't know, slowly getting into that grind, and then the calls we have been getting, it's been I think it's been taken positive. I think the biggest pain in the ass that's been happening is having that conversation, seemingly everything going well, sending over a contract, and then hearing crickets for weeks.
Yeah, man. You got to get that over the phone closed down. That's the
Yeah.
ideal scenario because like anytime you're like, yeah, man, like get back to me, it's like, oh shoot, like they don't get back to you, right? So a couple different strategies there. You could push for like the call, like the close over the phone, and you should really be looking at like a lot of like objection handling resources, specifically around I want to get back to you about it, right? And you need to learn how to overcome that objection of like, yeah, like let me just get back to you, or you know, hey, I need some time to think about it, right? Hermosi just posted a video. Actually, didn't just post it; he posted it a while ago. It's like an hour video. I was just watching it this morning actually because it's such a good video. I'll watch it actually a couple times. Because like the objection handling is great inside of it. So definitely check that out. It's like something about like entrepreneur speaks to crowd and like wows them or like changes their life or something. It's something like that. But like you have to learn that, and then Two, like if you're not comfortable like dealing with that objection quite yet, and like you run into that conversation and you're like essentially like they're not ready to move forward with you, you need to push them to another call, right? At a minimum. So reschedule something on the calendar. Like, okay, great. Like, I understand you don't want to move forward today. Totally understand that. Let's do this. How does next Tuesday sound as a follow up? You think you can make a decision by then? And they're like, yeah, like let's do that. Let's follow up next Tuesday. And they're like, maybe it's like one of those things where, they're not quite ready to pull the trigger even on a reschedule, right? So, you should really try to push them towards a reschedule if possible. Doesn't always happen, but that's like the next best thing. Instead of just being like, okay, like talk to you later and like, yeah, like hit me up when you're ready, or I'll hit you up when you're ready, and they just ghost you. It's the worst, dude. So always have like a follow-up call on the schedule. And like I just kind of make it very nonchalant of like, hey, like, let's do this. How does next Tuesday sound for you at the same time? Like, can you follow up with me then? Let's put it on the calendar. Sweet. Did you get that invite? Awesome. See you then.
Yeah, that's kind of what we've been trying to do at times. I guess kind of the issue that I've been facing has kind of been two-pronged, where A, they're not the ultimate decision makers, right? Like, for example, I'll be sending the emails to the founder and the CEOs and they like it, but then they send their director of marketing, or we had somebody that was like the senior marketing person.
Sure.
But they can get the information, but they're not the ones that can ultimately make that decision. So it's almost impossible essentially to close it in that moment, because they can't really close it for the business.
Yeah. Totally understand that.
And the other thing we've been trying to push it, for example.
Well, let's approach the first one, and then we'll talk about the second one.
Sure.
So the first one is like, dude, like there's one simple way around that. It's like, hey, I get on the phone with decision makers. It's like, it's like, sweet, like, who's gonna be there, right? So like you're probably reaching out to the CEO and they're pushing you to the marketing director or whatever, and be like, sweet, like, sounds good. Like I wouldn't even give the marketing director a price. Like, so if that's the way that they want to do it, wouldn't even give them a price. I would just tell them about the service. Yeah, like totally get it. Like, here's what we do. Here's how we do it. This is how we work with people. Here's our case studies. And after that, they're like, okay, cool. Like, why don't you take that back to your boss and let's get on a call with him. And oftentimes they'll be like, hey, like, what's the price? Oh, like, actually, we'll have to chat a little bit about that, and we'll build. And I'm not sure, I don't remember exactly what you do, but it's like you could say like we build like more custom pricing. So take that back to your boss, and we can come up with like a custom solution for you guys. Sound good? And I was like, yeah, that's cool. Sounds great. And so for me, like, I'm not giving the price to someone that's not a decision maker.
So I guess my question, the rebuttal to that would be, what if they ask for the price? What if they're like, but can you give me a price or an estimate so I can bring that back to the...
100%. Yeah, our price is estimate anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 for our contracts.
Gotcha. Right? Okay, so kind of a wide-ranging figure.
Exactly. Give them a wide range, and then schedule up a follow-up call with them. Sweet. Like, hey, let's do this. Let's put you on the calendar tentatively for Tuesday at 5 p.m., right? If you can't make that time work, or if your boss can't make that time work, let me know. We can reschedule. Okay, but tentatively, let's put that on the calendar. Does that work for you at least? And like, yeah, that works for me. Sweet. Let's go ahead and invite your boss to that as well. See if he can make it.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, because it's been a pain in the butt, like following up, and I mean, obviously following up is essential, but it's just like, fuck, like I'm not asking you to sell your soul. It's just like I think a pretty standard conversation.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. So what was the other side of that?
The other issue that we were having was, now I'm blanking. It was the decision maker, and then, why am I blanking now? I mean, that was kind of like the biggest thing, just having the decision maker on the call. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of been it. I think I know I had something else, but my mind's just kind of blanking right now. But I think that's kind of probably going to be the biggest thing, just being able to talk to the founder or CEO, whomever. Because the rest, I think that the offer we're giving is very positive for them, right?
Sure.
They're getting a 2-month trial to test out the services to build out their case studies. and then afterwards are going on a performance basis contract, so they're not paying unless they're doing well.
Sure.
I think the one thing that we've been struggling with that we're trying to figure out how to properly phrase is how to tell them that it's performance based and explain it without saying that it's a percentage of their profit. And I think the conversation we've had with my business partner, it's like whenever you mention the word profits or profit sharing, it almost makes them feel as though you're taking their money.
Yeah. So, remind me real quick, what's your service again?
No, we do TikTok and Facebook ads, but at this point we're doing TikTok ads specifically.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I just don't like performance in general.
Yeah,
It-
no, it's something
there's,
we're trying to figure out something better for
yeah,
newer clients. But
I
it's
would
the best
just,
offer when we don't have case studies right now.
right. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I get that. Um, like, we only win if you win type of thing. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, get some case studies, man, and then just shift to a retainer model. It's what a lot of large agencies do. It's simple. You don't have to like go in and measure and be like, okay, like how much profit did you do this month? And it's like, oh, we did this much profit. And it's like, okay. It's like, I don't know. It's just such a pain in the ass to measure.
Oh, 100%. It's and the attribution tools can ultimately end up fucking you a little bit.
hmm Yeah, 100%. So I would move to a retainer model as soon as possible. Because yeah, like you said, attribution just blows. Um, and just price it on the lower side, or price it competitive to what you normally get paid on performance, and then build those case studies. Because at the end of the day, it's like people know they're gonna have to pay for media buying.
Yeah. And curious, when you say retainer, you're not talking about a fixed fee, right? Or is it a
Yeah,
combination of
no fixed fee.
fixed and
Mhm.
it's just purely fixed? I guess the question I have on that is, doesn't that kind of stifle the opportunity for growth in the future? Like if you're doing well for them, like you ultimately don't end up getting an appropriate piece of the pie of what you're delivering.
Well, I mean, it's not your business, right?
No, of course, and that's kind of why I know a lot of agencies kind of do a retainer plus ad spend model.
Yeah,
Um,
I would say that is becoming a very old model of
okay.
how things are currently playing out. Like, don't get me wrong, like some people do like ad spend, and
Uh-huh.
like so if you're gonna do like anything based off of percentage, it should be on ad spend, because like you have a
Yeah.
true measure of how much ad spend, because like as ad spend goes up, the more time that you need to commit to that account, right?
Right.
So that's the only percentage that I would kind of throw in there. I know a few
Mhm.
people that were doing profit like percentages for a while. Nightmare, dude. Especially when iOS 14 hit, like
Mhm.
it completely just screwed them over. So what I would consider is, if you want to do some sort of percentage, do it off ad spend instead of like, hey, like,
Okay.
as we spend more with you guys, that's when it goes up. That's what a lot of the big players do. It's like retainer plus ad spend, or just a flat retainer.
Hey
Interesting.
Josh,
Okay.
you mind if I jump in real quick?
Of course, man, go for it.
So, based off of those two things, I forgot who it was I talked to. So, I was actually for 2 years, the past 2 years, I've been a CMO or marketing director. I was like the main person handling all the marketing for a fitness apparel company out here,
Mm.
and it was actually my job to be that gatekeeper, right? Like someone would call me, we'd have whatever software, someone would contact us, right? Um, and my whole thing was to be the goalie. I was basically the one before the CEO, right? So one, I forgot who it was, but someone said something along the lines of, when we were on our call, trying to do that thing of like, hey, let's make sure the CEO's on the call. Let's make sure everybody's here. And I was basically just trying to get around. I was like, no, I can't do that. Let's just do it now. Blah blah blah. I get around it, but he did one interesting thing that stood out to me. He
Mhm.
said, uh, "Okay, no problem. If this were to work out, would you want me to send it whatever to the CEO?" I said, "Yeah, probably." Then we'd get him involved once we're ready to go. And he said, "No problem. Then can I get his email?" I was like, "Sure." We didn't end up doing it. He spammed our CEO, well, not in a bad way, but he like contacted him. He followed up with him personally as well as me. So that's one thing you can try. Um, is at least just getting the contact info of the CEO, whether it's a LinkedIn, whether it's an email, whatever it is getting some contact info so that you can follow up personally. because otherwise the CMO is going to try and play that goalie game.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. And I guess I'm curious, would the CMO or the gatekeeper not almost take it as, I guess, going over them type of situation? Obviously, I don't know what that dynamic
It
would be.
could, it could. I didn't, but I guess some could. But it's just another thing you could try.
And,
Another way to at least get inside the business a little more and just get
Uh-huh.
familiar with everyone.
and you also have to understand, like, the buyer personas are completely different for those two people. CEO,
Mhm.
their goal is to grow the business and to essentially put more cash in their pocket, right? Like, that is that is kind of like the drivers behind the CEO. Like, they want to grow the business. Whereas in the CMO, they want to freaking keep their job, right? So they're going to vet people extremely closely. So if you're talking to a larger corporation where it's like you're actually talking to a CMO, do you need to make them your best friend? And
Right.
the whole psychological piece shifts of like you need to make them look good to their CEO so they can get a raise, so they can get more budget allocated to marketing, all of that stuff, right? Because they're looking to support their department. They're looking to look good to the board of advisors, whoever it is. So that needs to be the main goal if you're talking directly to a CMO. And just know, like, large organizations, like, you'll never, like, that's not how they work. Okay, so you're not going to talk direct, like, maybe at like the closing time, it's going to be the CEO. But if you're talking with the CMO, the whole goal is to like make that person your best friend and kind of build them up and directly show them, hey, this is how it's going to benefit them and what you can do for that specific department and how they're going to grow, right?
100%. Yeah, because if I didn't explicitly believe that you were going to be the thing that killed it for us, it
Mhm.
wasn't going to happen.
Yeah,
It
man.
just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, you're not going to take that risk
No, not
because
a chance. And
it's your reputation on the line.
100%. And when you appeal to the CEO, like, I'll be real, the CEO wasn't all that smart. Hard worker, really hard worker, wasn't all that smart. So if you told my CEO that you can increase our revenue by 20 grand per month and that you would, whatever, do it for 2 months, and if you didn't hit a certain goal, you'd give him his money back, he's not hesitating. 100%.
Yep.
So just appealing to someone who's at the top, appealing to their deepest desire, it gets pretty simple.
Yeah. So understand the personas that you talk to. When you're getting on these phone calls, like if you're getting on with a CMO, you're going to talk to them different than how you're going to talk to a CEO.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have different benefits that you want to highlight, I guess. In the
Exactly.
offer.
Exactly.
Those-
Yep.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah,
Good
that's
stuff.
fair.
Great conversation. Love that, Nacho.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys for that feedback. Thank you.
Of course,
Yep.
man. Of course. Cool. Other questions? We got a few people up here now. Anthony, I don't know if you had a question or if you just wanted to
No,
add your
just
two
wanted to
cents.
chime in. Yeah,
Love it,
because
dude.
I've been in that position. Just wanted to give him some
Eh.
advice. Also, one thing you could try, Nacho, for the ad spend is you could just offer them. I mean, everyone loves choices sometimes, right? I'll say this: people love choices, not options, right? 31 flavors can be overwhelming, but if you give someone 2 or 3 choices, you want strawberry, chocolate, or vanilla, it could appeal to people a little bit more. So if you tell them, hey, look, we could either do, this retainer plus percentage of ad spend, or we can do just a retainer model, but it goes up by 20%, or however you price it out financially, because then they have options, right? If they don't want to do the ad spend percentage, that's fine. You still make a little more. Just play with it a little bit.
Sorry, Anthony, but I guess I'm curious when you're saying that the retainer goes up by 20%. Are you saying that the retainer goes up 20% compared to the hybrid
Yeah.
model?
Yep. So
Gotcha.
you can say there's 2 options, right? Because you really want to keep it simple. You don't want to overwhelm people. You don't want to say, look, I have these 7 different options, right? It could be 2 options. You say, look, hey, we have the retainer plus, 5-10% of ad spend. Or if you don't want to do that, or you could even say, like, keep that on the side. Don't even say that. Just offer the retainer and then the percentage of ad spend.
Mhm.
And if they're like, I don't know about that, whatever, then you be like, hey, no problem. We also have this other option, right? If you really want to keep it super niche, and just say we have this other option where we can do just retainer, no problem. But to make sure that we both win, it goes up by 20%, right? And you don't really put that into dollars because that might be, depending on your retainer, it might be a few thousand.
Sure.
But it's just something to play around with, something to think about, appealing to people's interest a little bit.
No, that's something that we'd been considering. Because, like Josh has said, going off of a performance model was just such a bitch. Because it's like, I don't know if we're losing money, we're making money. Every month kind of fluctuates so much that there's no consistency to the cash flow. And B, they almost feel as though we're taking directly out of their earnings. even though subconsciously maybe the amounts end up being the same as like a percentage of ad spend.
For sure. And you could miss out on opportunities, because I'll tell you right now, like we were doing, at the height we were doing, it wasn't a ton, but the company was doing like 5.5 million a year. And if you told us that we were going to take a percentage of revenue, even if it was just revenue coming from ads, there's not a chance. But if you told me you were going to do ad spend and it made sense for us, sure, I'd take that risk. But if you would set a percentage of revenue, I'm like, that just, because I did our P&L, I'm like, that doesn't make sense for us. There's no way. So I would say percentage.
Profitable for, like, you end up making too much money and then I end up charging way too much for
Exactly. Yep.
Got
Because what people don't realize is, like, yeah, we made 5.5, but really after everything, we took home, I mean, just over $1 million, which sounds nice, but until you when you look at like what that actually goes into. Go ahead,
I mean, it's
Nacho.
only 20% profit at that point. Like, it's
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
there's
So
there's
it's
economies of
tough.
scale, as
Yeah.
you grow,
Definitely,
profit shift. So,
definitely that.
cool. Other questions? Yeah, dude. No problem, Nacho. Thanks, man. Anthony, thanks, dude.
Mhm.
Samir, what's up, man?
Off. Sorry, I got to take off, but it was good talking to you guys. Later, guys.
See you, Anthony.
Peace
Thanks,
out.
buddy.
Yo, how are you doing, man?
Good, man. What's good? What's new?
Yeah, so like first off, dude, your leadership presentation was crazy.
Hey.
Literally gonna make it mandatory for all of our team.
Let's go, dude. Yeah, I'll drop you guys the Canva link, and you guys can steal my presentation if you want.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
Of course. Hold on, where my freaking thing's in the way. What's up, dude? Like, questions? Just dropping in, saying what's up.
Yeah, man. So I have a couple questions. One of them is like, if you were to go back in time and start your agency again, like, what are a couple things you do differently?
Oh, damn, good question. So here's the first thing. I would lay out a way more clear-cut vision of where I wanted the agency to go. I would make sure that my entire team understood the vision of the company and where we were expecting things to go. And our whole goal behind building this agency was to undergo an exit, which we successfully did, but in my opinion, a little early and not exactly the exit that we were looking for. It still happened. It was still great, but not exactly what we were looking for, right? So I would go back and be like, hey, this is the goal. This is what we want to exit for. And we're not going to say yes until we hit this, right? So that would be the first part, is laying out a very clear vision for the team and getting everyone on board and really gung-ho about that vision.
Golden right there. Yeah, thank you.
Of course, man. Of course. What else you got? That was a great question.
Yeah. So another thing is like, so right now, like we're reaching the stage of like, like bringing on salespeople and stuff.
Sure.
So when you're like hiring salespeople, is there like a certain like certain traits you look for and such? Like, would you bring on a more experienced one, or would you bring on like a newer one and like train him up? Like, what does that look?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends, right? So like obviously like your more veteran people, they're going to be a higher price tag. Your more rookie people, they're going to be, of course, a lower price tag. So it really depends on where you guys are at financially and what you can invest into a sales team, right? Real quick, what is your service?
Our service. So actually, Conan's actually the owner, so I'm like shadowing under him. I'm like 16.
Dope.
So
Dope. Okay.
yeah. So what we pretty much do is we literally like, so we take these people like 250K. We take care of all the ads, all the funnels, make all the creative, do all of that stuff, and all they really have to do is just record like the videos, and we'll handle everything else.
Sure.
And even if it comes down to training like their salespeople, you do that too.
Got it. And so what I would say, like, are you or Conan, are you guys doing any fulfillment still?
Yeah, Conan's doing a lot of fulfillment. We just brought on one person for fulfillment, and that's just like a funnel builder. But like Conan's doing most of it.
Okay, gotcha. So this is normally my recommendation. Normally, you're not going to find better salespeople than the people that have founded the actual company, and you're not going to have people that are more convicted than the people that are already bought in, like you or Conan, right? So if I were in your shoes, I would be pushing as much fulfillment off my plate as possible and continuing to sell. until you guys are in a position of like we just can't do it anymore. Like there's other things that we need to get to outside of sales, or like we have too many sales calls where we actually need a team to fulfill on sales calls for us. I think that's one of like, in my opinion, one of the biggest like rookie mistakes agency owners make is that they hire a sales team when one, they don't have enough leads to fulfill on it, and while they're still in fulfillment, right? You can hire people to do fulfillment, but it's like you are now putting the lifeblood, which is generating revenue, into someone else's hand. And in my opinion, it should stay in your guys' hands as long as possible until it like hurts, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Gotcha.
So
like, yeah, one thing with bringing on like fulfillment that we've been running into is like we bring on like certain like marketers and stuff.
Yep.
Then they'd be like really, really bad.
Sure. Yeah, better training, better coaching. Like you have to spend time with these guys and like really nurture them into being great at their jobs. Because, dude, like it's hard to find good talent, but if you have a good training program, if you got good systems, good SOPs, if you coach them on, like if you look at some of the best run organizations, they do trainings with their teams every single week. Like you look at, do you know Heman Group?
Oh yeah, of course.
Ashton Shanks, dude, they do training every single week with their team.
Wow.
Every week. Mandatory. Can't miss it. Gotta be there. Part of the culture. If you don't like it, probably not the place for you.
Gotcha.
Okay, so more trainings. Like what you could also do is like, this is what's great about like people inside the organization creating the trainings too, is you could almost like make a course for your internal team, and then eventually that turns into like an internship program that you could start nurturing all of these new employees into the positions. And it's like you bring them in as interns. They go through like your internal training program, and then they're like they're ready to be hired when they're done with their internship, right? So like you kind of have like a self liquidating internship program where they can just jump in and learn from you guys, learn your systems, and then you take the cream of the crop and bring them into the organization.
Gotcha. Isn't that what like Traffic and Funnels has with like their Kajabi? I know like they were doing something like that for like their salespeople.
Yeah. So I mean, what's great about their sales team is like they have an entire product revolving, like they have something called Sales Mentor, revolving around specifically sales, right? So like they can train on their own team on their own methods, which is fantastic. And so Sales Mentor, what they did is like people would buy Sales Mentor to become better at sales, and then part of like buying that program is that they would actually place them inside of a sales team. So Sales Mentor was like kind of two-way. It's kind of genius how they did it actually. So they would train people up. People would pay to get trained for sales, and then they would charge people like bigger organizations to actually place sales people in their organization. So like they would make money on both ends.
That is insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so genius.
Yeah, super smart. But with that being said, man, like I wouldn't pass off sales until like you absolutely felt the need to.
Gotcha. So like just to like recap what you said, like so instead of like us hiring a bunch of salespeople, we should mainly be hiring like fulfillment people, and then just pushing Conan, our other partner, and me just towards the sales side of the business until it's like too
Agreed.
much.
Yes. Yep. And that's my personal opinion. Obviously like take it with a grain of salt, but you look at like Heman, for example. I don't think Heman they have a sales team, but like when it comes to talking to large companies and talking to like their like big ecom brands, like I think Heman works with ClickFunnels, for example. Like you got a ClickFunnels on your radar, you better not have your sales team take that. Like you and Conan better take that, right?
Yeah.
It's like that's a huge opportunity. So with that being said, man, like I don't know, like I like even on my team, like I still take my sales calls. Nicholas and I both take it, because we have the highest opportunity to close because we know the business so well, and like we have all the experience, right? So like when you see the founder, people are like, oh shoot, like I'm actually talking to the guy that I saw on the YouTube video or the guy that I saw on the ad. I'm not talking to just some random stranger, right? And it's like even Hermosi took sales calls all the time still, like even when they were massive. Like he would take like 5 sales calls a week, he said.
Wow, dude, that's insane.
Yeah. So, and what's great about that too is as you bring on a sales team, your guys' skills are still sharp, and you can still teach that team how to sell and like how to do it, and like actually work with them and train them up. So I would stay in that mix for as long as you can. Pass off fulfillment, pass off client success, all of the other BS that you can kind of pass to like a fulfillment team. I would get that off your plate first and then worry about sales later down the road when the pipeline is like actually so full that it's unmanageable. John Danes, I don't know if you know John Danes. John Danes still takes sales calls. A lot of like the larger agencies that I work with, their founders still take sales calls.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I guess we're gonna have to pivot then with that. Yeah. Thank you, dude.
Yeah, dude. Of course. And Conan can, and you as well. Feel free to drop some questions in our Slack channel.
Of course. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Awesome, guys. Good stuff. Any final questions before we jump off? Just want to make sure we hit everyone, and if not, we're good to go. Love it.
Thanks, Josh, man. Have a good one.
Dude, absolutely. Appreciate you guys. Hey, we will be back next week every Thursday now. So we're not doing it Wednesday, we're doing it Thursday. Starts at 5 p.m. Central Time. We're going to be doing the live stream. I'll bring some more topics. I'll bring some fresh new ideas for next week. So 5 p.m. Central Time, start time, and then 6 p.m. Central Time, we'll open up the Discord, and we will jump into some Q&A. Much love. Appreciate you guys.